1 million people across 4 platforms.
Wow.
And I was able to do that by myself. No AI, no social media manager. Whoa, hey, what are you doing over here, yo? But that's because they learned the power of social media and how to manipulate their audience. I don't want to do that. Take me out. Buy me something nice. You're not paying attention to me. Oh, look at me. It shouldn't be like that. Fulfill yourself. He's like, I have 3 subscribers after 6 months. What the heck? Being an adult sucks. You want to make things even better? Fight with your husband when you get home. Our healthcare system is broken. So that's why I think our generation is so powerful, because we were able to kind of put those two worlds together. If this was all about money, why do I need this? I would open an OnlyFans.
Good morning, Esther.
Good morning, Olga.
Welcome to Kaikov Media and podcast Olga Zakinova and team. I'm super honored and excited that you really took the time out of busy life and showed up despite all the challenges you had to face this morning.
Yes. It was quite a morning. Good morning to you. And it's a pleasure to finally make your acquaintance. I've seen some of your clips circulating on social media, this Miss Real Estate Mogul.
Thank you. Well, I want to welcome you. Well, everyone knows you in the community as Mami Aren, but now you turned yourself into this big, beautiful comedian figure and someone that a lot of ladies inspired by. Thank you for being that character. Thank you for connecting. Thank you for being open. Thank you for being authentic and being true to yourself. And I am super excited for today's episode because we're going to unfold a lot of parts of you that many people probably are dreaming to know.
I'll do my best to be as honest as possible, but I am very transparent. So, whatever you ask, maybe some of them even have heard this already across my other interviews, but we will be diving much deeper today with Olga on some things that you want to know, some things that people want to know, and just some general topics.
Well, I have to honestly tell you, as we started communicating back and forth and getting into this moment where we said I do to each other, I started to pay attention to your work ethics. And I think that you are like someone we know that sleeps only 5 hours a day. Okay. And I think when people ask, how is success built, right? Success is built behind the scenes. Yeah. Success is built when no one is watching. Success is built when we are in a position where you are behind closed doors, getting maybe some negative comments, and you have to control your mind and your body and your mental capacity and state. How do you react to that? And what do you continue doing? Do you fall apart, or do you put yourself together and you keep going? So I really want to showcase your true character because I witnessed you in the past couple of days and how you're very, authentic and true to yourself. You keep rocking, keep working, and sometimes until 1 o'clock in the morning, you don't stop.
That's what it takes. And one thing you didn't say is success is very up and down.
Right.
Just because you reach success in one level, definitely don't, that's why they say stay humble. Definitely don't, go on the mountain, start beating your chest. It's really... it's a stepping stone. And I think that a lot of people get lost in the emotional highs that sometimes success can bring, whether it's money, whether it's notoriety. For me personally, I tend not to get into my emotions about anything at all. I genuinely look at other people that have attained a lot more, and I see their composure. And I always say, it's very important to stay humble. As fast as it comes up, it can also come down.
Absolutely.
So, like I mentioned to you before, some of the people that I listened to, Gary Vee, one of the most important things that he taught me was that if you don't pay attention to the positive validation, then the negative validation will not affect you as much. So,
Correct.
People will say, молодец, good for you, this is great, this is great. That's why that one negative comment that comes out of nowhere, it can, shatter somebody. They can immediately go, oh, that one person said all these things. And why do we focus on that negative? Because it's a death blow to the ego, where, that's why some people get so, like they say, like сознались, they say, but the English word for that is they gas their heads up too much. That's why for them, when you do say something, even if it's critical in a good judgment way, like they say, you should try this character, you should do that, they immediately get defensive. Why? Because you are creating, they have an illusion that they created and you're bursting that bubble, basically. So it's just very important to stay grounded. I stay grounded in everything I do. Life is not a movie. I still have responsibilities at home.
You sure it's not a movie?
Listen, sometimes it can be a movie. I think the world today is sometimes like a movie, especially I sometimes will scroll on social media and I'm like, we live in the Twilight Zone. Like, this is insane. From the news cycle, breaking news to how fast everything is. And this is just the world today. So I don't want to speed up too much to try to keep up with the world because then my life will pass me by and I won't be able to live it. So I just try to take it one day at a time, so it's very up and down.
Do you believe you were born with your talent or do you believe you developed it?
I believe that my personality, I've always kind of been humorous as a child. I come from a very loud, boisterous family. A lot of them are very talented in the music industry. From Israel to Uzbekistan, my grandmother was a very famous singer. My aunt is an actress. She's works with Khanda Khanda in Israel. My uncle is a famous singer. He's still working. So I come from a very musical family with the ear. I think that
You feel it.
you feel it, and that part of it is like you're born with. Either you have it or you don't have it. From the lip syncing to just being able to mimic easily, that part of it I never really had to try too hard. I think it just came to me. But when you hone it and when you polish something, then you can get better and better at it. So, like for example, the Kamala Harris impression, the first time I did it, night and day compared to what it is now. Now I do it in my sleep. Now I can, engage in free conversation just using her voice, the mannerisms, all of that stuff. It gets built with time. So even if somebody can be extremely talented, if they don't have the work ethic, they're not going to showcase that talent on the stage that they envisioned for themselves because it takes both. So it's one thing to have the talent, it's another thing to have the work ethic, and one without the other is very difficult to reach a level of success. So I know people that are a lot less talented than their counterparts, but their work ethic is so phenomenal and they will create and create and post and post. So their consistency sets them apart. And then you'll see talented people. How many times have you seen a talented person in the like homeless in the subway, singing, playing jazz, like on an opera level? I've seen this man once sing and I stopped in my tracks to listen to him. He was an opera singer, homeless, dirty. And I said to myself in my mind, no judgment. Nobody knows what that person went through. But there's so much hidden talent like that all over the world.
Absolutely.
Undiscovered, unrecognized. Because some of those people probably felt sorry for themselves and said, oh, why did that person get it and not me? Or some people just didn't have the drive. They thought that it'll happen by its own. They waited to be discovered. Or they just never pushed themselves. They were shy. They were afraid, what is someone going to think? We have so many people like that in today's world. And I know so many people that are more talented than me that are just shy. Like, they've approached me and said, I can do A, B, and C. And they've showed me their work, like, their own videos or whatever. And I said, this is incredible. I don't understand why you're not sharing this. And they're like, I can't. What if my in-laws see? What if my neighbor starts thinking I'm weird? What if my coworker, doesn't take me seriously anymore? I can't do that. And, I'll tell you, it comes with its backlashes, definitely. But if you know how to hold yourself, there's a very, very silly side to me, but there is a very no-nonsense side to me also. I've engaged with people in the comedy realm, but then once we started sitting down and having serious conversations, they're like, oh, wow. You actually know what you're talking about in the political world. Maybe we should have you on an interview. Maybe we should get some of your talking points. And those are the doors I was able to open for myself. So, to reach mainstream success is one thing. To be able to build platforms is one thing. But what are you going to do with it after is where I think the true success is, because we have transitions that we go through in life. So I'm sure you're a real estate agent, but how many different people do you network with that will open different doors for you that you didn't really think is a possibility?
Absolutely.
So that's the way the world is. I limited myself before as a younger woman because my focus was, I have to get married, I have to make a family, I have to have children. And I really wanted to do that when I was younger. That was a personal choice. I did not want to wait until I was 30, 35. I'm 36 now. And
when did you get married?
I was 21. And when I think back of how, like, mentally I was definitely not ready to be married. There's a maturity aspect here, but we both weren't. And, you don't give up. You work on it. Sometimes I tell my oldest son, who's now 12, I tell him, I was growing up with you sometimes. So because I'm a different mother to my two younger kids now. And he tells me, oh, there's so many things that you let them do or you don't let them do. Me and you, it was different when I was alone. And I told him because I was also sometimes a child still. I'm still a child. Are you kidding me? Look at half my content. And I think that's important to keep that childhood part of you, because being an adult sucks. From the bills to the problems, I can call my mom and complain, but, she's not going to sit there and fix my problems for me anymore. My father is no longer with us. He was a big protector. And even that, I think, makes you stronger in some way. It was
Absolutely.
very easy to lick my wounds when he passed away. I was only 25. But it just makes you stronger just by sheer circumstance. Life will push you into these situations that force you to become stronger, first force you to become a leader or whatever it is, but it just forces this discomfort pushes you to these next levels. And I think it's very important to go through those uncomfortable stages to reach that success, whatever that may look like.
How do you keep your mental capacity in a position where you could control everything that's happening around you?
I can't control everything that's happening around me at all. I only focus what I can control. So that's a very important statement that you made because nobody should be expected to control anything around them. You actually can't control a lot of things. Let's say you have a speeding ticket, you get pulled over. The cop is extra nice that day and sits there and has you waiting 55 minutes. You're late to your meeting. You know your day is going to now be a disaster. If you sit in your car and you go ahead and you make your entire day about that bad hour that you had or bad 15 minutes that you had, yeah, you got a ticket. Yeah, the weather is bad, but you control if the rest of your day is bad.
Correct.
And a lot of people, because of that surge of cortisol that we get, which is the stress hormone, right? Because of that really big surge that we get in our body, because of the mental the mental gymnastics that we do with ourselves every single day, especially in a state like New York. Like, I think we don't have a great quality of life here. It's very, very always on the go, always moving,
High speed.
always working, always high speed, always high stress. That's why we have so many people here just
Hustling.
always tired.
Right.
And when you get these, extra problems in your day, it's very easy to lose yourself. And what happens? You start sitting there. And this is just my personal process, works for me. But what happens when you don't have the tools to deal with something like that? I can't control what kind of cop is going to pull me over or if I'm going to get pulled over or whatever happens. But let's say I do get pulled over. The ticket is already there. The cop is already, he decided he's going to give me a hard time. He's going to give me a violation. This is the difference between what you could do and what you end up sometimes doing, which is sabotaging yourself. Because what happens when you throw out that anger? It's like a boomerang. It's just coming back to you.
Right.
So you could sit. I'm sorry. I sometimes go into Russian. You sit there and you start saying, "Oh, this cop, he's just such a bad guy. Now I'm going to be late. My boss, who's also, a piece of work, is going to give me headache now. My kids, if they wouldn't have done this in the morning, this would have never happened." So what did you just do? You made yourself angrier and angrier. You're building resentment now. You are now angry at all the people in your life, and this is all mental gymnastics, all of it.
Correct.
Now,
Half of it doesn't exist, right?
Not only that, now the rest of your day is going to guaranteed be negative.
Correct.
You can even lead this up to, and this is something I used to do. You want to make things even better? Fight with your husband when you get home. Get him involved because now you have all this pent up anger and stress. That's my favorite target.
So you take out on Dima.
You take it out on sometimes your spouse. Sometimes your kids do it. I'll see a sock laying on the floor. The way that sock is going to set me off on a bad day just because I am already built up.
Right.
Or here's the alternative. I get pulled over. Okay. It's obviously unpleasant. I give my documents. Don't say the mean thing that you want to say to the cop. So he doesn't give you a second ticket. I look up. I take a deep breath. Focus on what you're grateful for that day. I say, you know what, at the end of the day, did I just get into a car accident and lose my life? Which many people have done in the same 5 minutes that I got pulled over. No. Do I still have my job? Are my kids healthy, Baruch Hashem? Do I still get to go to work? Am I going to get fired because of this? No, it's an inconvenience. I start manifesting and using gratitude. The rest of my day is magically going to the rest of my day is not magically going to get better. It got better because I manifested a positive mindset. This is also connected with your energy, with your nerves. So I took the deep breath, okay? I made sure to calm myself down because everything I can control, I did. I can control my emotional state. I can control that resentment that's going to build up in my head. The same thing can be said, and this is like a powerful advice that I got from my therapist when I started therapy after I lost my father. And the reason I mention this is because I did not start it right away. I decided to start it later. And he said, there's people that are afraid of flying. When they're on the plane, they give themselves this vision. The plane is going to go down. I'm going to die. What happens at the end of that vision? They're shaking completely. Mm-hmm. They're completely beside themselves. They are now in panic-induced anxiety. It was all in their head. Did the plane actually crash? Was there any issues with the plane? No. They allowed that fear to dictate everything else wrong with what happened to them. So I'm sorry to give you this long-winded response, but it is very important to understand that there is a lot of things that you cannot control. I'm sure there's people in business, the higher the stakes, the higher the stress. That is why that great risk, great reward. So it's very important to try to continue to practice that. And I do that by trying to maintain a healthier lifestyle. I do things for my mental health. I take health supplements, and all of those things added. I don't wake up at 4 a.m. working out like some of these people on Instagram. I think it's laughable. Like there's just extremes that I cannot meet. I'm not there yet. I'm not taking ice plunges at 4:30 a.m.
Not yet.
Not yet. I can't. I physically don't see that as something I can do, but I wouldn't write it off.
Again, maybe it's a limited mindset.
Absolutely. 100%.
Esther, you can do anything you put your mind
I don't like to be cold, but we'll get there. One day we'll get there. I have tried it a few times. It's definitely, you feel better after. That's just a small example, but there are things that people are willing to do to create a very strong foundation before they start.
Shift the mind. How did your family accept you being so open on social media?
Family is going to have mixed reactions, just like everyone else. No,
Still?
I wouldn't say still. They kind of understand I'm also like a dog with a bone if I want something. And for me, it's not about wanting something. It's about wanting for myself more. I believe that when I was younger, it was more of a sheep mindset where I was just following along what all the other younger girls were doing. Get into college, do something that you like. My mom is a nurse. I followed in her footsteps. I was told, oh, this is a great job, great benefits. It's great for a woman, 3 days on, 4 days off. They present it very beautifully. And you say, oh, okay, I'm also going to do it. Do I love helping people? Yes. So I went into the nursing field, but I realized very quickly that this is not what I expected. It's not even about the high stress. I am no stranger to hard work. I've had a job since I was about 11 years old. I've always worked, whether it's waitressing or like a service worker.
So you always hustled.
I've always hustled. That's just how we grew up. I wanted to help my parents. I wanted to, my parents also wanted me to learn the value of a dollar. And when I went into the nursing field, I realized that, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Like, this is a Band-Aid system. We're not really helping people. We're just prescribing a bunch of medications every single day. It's like a different trial and error.
Zaglushayet.
Exactly. You're not really helping anybody. So I started feeling like I'm in a very resentful state of mind if I'm in this very, surrounded by this sick, high-stress environment, and I'm not really making much of an impact in the world. Did we help patients feel better? Absolutely. Was it a rewarding job in some cases? Yes. But not for the most part, I would say no. The hospital administration system is broken. Our healthcare system is broken. And my personality was always bubbly. And I found that my favorite part of the job was talking to the families, making them laugh. I used to try to lighten up my patients because who likes to be in a hospital? Nobody. Who likes to be sick? Nobody. So these people were always miserable. And I found with my personal experience, if you start the day with a joke and you make them more comfortable, a little TLC goes a very long way. TLC, tender love and care and comfort. I realized that if you get their personalities more open, and I used to open them up. I used to make them start talking to me like the way I'm talking to you right now. Once they saw me more of like as a friend, it wasn't such a bad job after all. So when I realized that my power is really people, not entertainment really, but connecting with different kind of people, being able to be adaptable, whether it's a joke, talking about deep conversations, doors open for you when you start actually sitting and just listening to what other people have to say. There were so many fascinating people I met. And I noticed that I was gravitating a lot towards older people. So the old people that were in the hospital that were sick, I enjoyed talking to them.
Why do you think it is?
Because they taught me a lot. You have to...
Wisdom?
So much wisdom. When you're younger, you seem to think that you know everything. I used to kind of think that, oh, my parents don't understand. What do they know? We're also in America. We're in a different country. I assimilated very much over here. But, our families worked very hard back in my generation. It took a village, and it was a village. We worked very hard to keep the values and the tradition strong at home. So that's why I think our generation is so powerful, because we were able to kind of put those two worlds together. We've assimilated very well, where we were able to get the jobs, learn the language, go out into the world, make all kinds of friends. Muslim, Jewish, Asian, especially in New York, in Queens, where I grew up. It's a
so much diversity.
Huge melting pot. Huge. I remember every single United Nations was in my classrooms from the time of kindergarten up until high school. So it wasn't even a thing for us to grow up racist in any way, because it's very diverse in Queens. So because of that world knowledge that we gained, we thought that we were able to come home and give our parents a run for their money by saying, you don't understand the way the world works, mom and dad. this is the way it is now. This is the way these cultures are. You have to be more open. And like, for example, to the homosexuality that we grew up seeing is very normal. Our parents used to come, what did they say? They used to be like, this is mentally sick people. Stella, you cannot look at them like, and I used to be like, no, we can't be like that. And it's true. You can't be like that. You have to be more open. So we were teaching them though about the new world in America, but we would forget to listen to their wisdom. What ends up happening when you get older, you realize only later, my parents were right. My parents were correct. The older people were right. So I started realizing that the older people, they're not silly old people that don't know what they're talking about. Maybe they can't,
Express
themselves in the same way or the right way. But if you actually sit down and talk to them, they can teach you so much about world, about humility. And I think that's very important to take all those life experiences you have from
right?
Exactly.
Esther, when did you decide that you wanted to break into social media world? How long you been active? When did you start?
I believe I started my professional pages all during COVID, just out of sheer boredom.
So just a few years?
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years now.
What has those 5 years been like? Did you start knowing that this is what it's going to turn out to be?
No. In the beginning when I started, it was really just out of boredom for fun. And when I started playing around with it, I started looking at other people's content. And, social media became a boom a lot more during COVID. I think there was a huge shift that happened, first of all, where we're no longer looking at Natalie Portman doing a Dior commercial. People started shifting to authenticity. So I like to look at it as like the universe almost opened up for me. And I felt like, wait, this is what, I could do something with this. So first of all, I'm a huge movie fanatic. Growing up, that's all we really had was like we had film and books. And when I downloaded TikTok, it was all the rage. It was probably like the biggest used app. It's still one of the number one apps. And people were doing like these mimicry. They were lip syncing their voices. And I was looking at them and I'm like, I'm not any worse than some of these people. And these people have like millions of followers. And I didn't even talk to anybody about it. But when it was brought up in conversation, like my husband was one of the people. Sorry, Dima, I'm gonna expose you for a second here. But he did say, he's like, you know how long it took for these people to do this? Like, this is not 1, 2, 3. Like, you're not gonna be able to do this. Like, stop. Whatever. Like, don't even kid yourself.
Doubt.
Of course, doubt. But me, the beautiful thing about me,
I'll show you, Dima.
It's not even about even to my husband. I just have that personality.
Right.
Not everybody will have that. And maybe not many people will celebrate it. And it's not because I'm trying to prove something to somebody. I love shutting people up when it comes to this. You're not going to tell me what I'm capable of. It's just not going to ever happen for you.
Esther, when is your birthday?
I'm a Cancer.
Well,
I'm a water sign. So there's only 3 water signs in the zodiac. I probably have ADD. Do you see how this conversation just went to astrology? Only 3 water signs, Pisces, Scorpios, and Cancers. Very intuitive, very powerful signs, but very no-nonsense folks. So, like deep waters. The surface is not what it seems. And I truly, truly believe in my sign as being one of my biggest, it's definitely definitely a blessing, but it's also, a blessing and a curse. Because sometimes when you feel people and you have a very good BS meter, you have to start isolating because you realize a lot of people don't, they're going to they're trying to use and abuse you.
Right.
A lot of people don't have good intentions.
Right.
And I'm not talking about myself. I'm just in general. Like when you come out to the world as a young woman, I used to be very green and I used to have this like mindset of like, oh, everybody's so friendly and you're just laughing and having a good time. And no, the real world is just not like that. There's predators. There's people that will try to harm you. And this is just the realities of the world. So you have to take all of these things into consideration. When I started the social media journey, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew there was going to be threats, especially, when I talk about Israel. I knew there was going to be a lot of, backlash. I knew there was going to be a lot of pushback.
So you set the bar for consequences.
I expected them. And it's not so much as consequences. It's more, it just comes with the territory. So you have to be mindful of that. There's some people that can't handle it. I'll be honest with you.
Yes.
And they ask me, how do you handle it? How do you handle it? You have to carry yourself the correct way. You have to just carry yourself the correct way. Most people, like in our community at least, I'm pretty sure, like it's just, people know I'm approachable. People know they can ask me for guidance. I'm not a mean person at all. But I've already had situations where people also know you're not going to step on my head. Don't mess with me. I'm not here playing games. Don't waste my time. If I'm giving you respect, give it back. And there's going to be people that aren't going to respect your time. So you just have to know to walk away from them. And that's
Right.
it. You have to just, like I said, it all depends on you. I don't sit there and beef with people. Did you ever see me like make a post about someone specific and say, oh, this person, oh, this, that? I don't even pay attention.
Smart.
I continue doing what I need to do, and that's it. Because if you give those people noise, sometimes I don't even bother with the comment section. I don't sit there and engage with like the negative
But
comments or negative
do
messages.
you communicate with your audience?
Absolutely. It's a must.
Do you love?
I love communicating with the audience, if I'm being honest with you. Can I communicate with all of them all the time? No. But one thing I'm very proud of is that I was able to organically grow my engagement by myself. I have built 1 million platforms across 4 platforms. I'm sorry, 1 million, 1 million people across 4 platforms.
Wow.
And I was able to do that by myself. No AI, no social media manager. And to have these people consistently support you and follow you where you go and, download your content, share it with other people, speak to you, buy the products that you're talking to them about. There has to be a level of trust.
Correct.
You're building a rapport. I'm not Natalie Portman. I'm not a famous person. I'm not an A-list actor. And I'm not a multimillionaire. So that, there's a lot of scams. There's such distrust because what did we used to see 20, 30 years ago? We saw a beautiful actress promoting skincare, promoting, let's say, a hair product, and their hair is perfect, but this is salon work. Or they are fresh off the plastic surgery table, or they're getting Botox and they're pretending like their cream is the moisturizing cream is the answer for all their problems. So we know now that the world is a lie. We now know this. Social media has also been a gift, and it's also kind of gotten exposed by itself. And I think that the COVID era exposed a lot of these things, which is why we see a shift. Celebrities are losing their edge. Nobody's looking at these celebrities anymore because we've realized they're all full of it. A lot of them are not authentic. This is all plastic surgery, filler, Botox. The Kardashians alone, they make me very mad because they marketed it themselves in such a way to fool and dupe all of these people. But it worked. It worked. Kris Jenner, she's a marketing genius. 4 of her children are billionaires. That is a very impressive thing. But that's because they learned the power of social media and how to manipulate their audience. I don't want to do that. That's not I don't want to manipulate anybody. I want to be as authentic as possible. And as I'm going through my own life journey, I'm kind of taking my audience with me. So I don't know what that looks like in the future, but to do comedy is one thing, but I talk a lot about current events, and I talk about health and wellness because I use my expertise as, from a nursing perspective. I'm still working, as a nurse. I'm still working every single day. I'm in administration. I'm not in patient care anymore. But in preventative health, which is what I do, it's very important for me to be able to try to share that message. So if I can reach all these people all the time, why not bring them a powerful message? That's really what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to convert these platforms for good. It's one thing to be entertained, and entertainment is great, and it's always going to be there. And I'm always going to do comedy because it's what I like and I'm passionate about it. But it's very important to try to be authentic and use these platforms for authenticity because we don't see a lot of it anymore.
What's your vision?
I have built these platforms and I want to use them for good. Health and wellness is something that I have been dabbling in for the past few years. People don't know me as someone that, I'm not like using the platforms like constantly to push a specific business or a product or products or a store, because I'm very careful with, what I want to use these platforms for. So recently my focus has been on stuff post October 7th. There has been a lot of stuff in the news, and there have been a lot of current events that I touched up on. But when it comes to the health and wellness stuff, a lot of people are constantly looking for advice,
Correct.
solution.
Right.
They're always complaining. Now, one of the biggest things that I've done with my platforms is I've always touched up on how we have a huge gap in these generations, where this current generation, I personally feel there's like a huge mental health epidemic in the country, especially in the country, in the world in general. But I think in this country, we have a huge mental health epidemic. We also have a big problem with corporate greed. And I've touched up on this as well. And this is something I've always felt passionate about, but it's gotten stronger and stronger since a lot of things got exposed after COVID. And not to get into a conspiracy theory conversation at all, that term conspiracy theory was actually coined to stop people from asking questions. And when COVID came out, I just started doing a lot of research, and I realized what kind of a lie we live with a lot of the products that we use. So working in the hospital, COVID research, watching like the mainstream media lie through their teeth, okay? once I started putting all these things together, I realized that all the products that we buy in the stores are not only harmful, they are contributing to the disease epidemics that we have. So I started looking into this. I started doing research. I started also noticing, like our community, for example, the Baharian community, mostly everyone I know, it's like it's almost a guarantee that if you are Baharian, your parents and your grandparents, without even like just skipping a beat, somebody has heart disease or high blood pressure or diabetes. Like just those three alone, okay? Forget about all the other ones. Gout, obesity, forget about all of that. And I'll tell you something, a powerful moment that I remember was very, very traumatizing for me. When my father passed away and I came to the first Yushvo, it was the 1 week. I remember sitting there, and you have to sit on the lower table. There was this moment that I had where everybody was coming up, talking, paying their respects, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate. And just to touch up, it was health issues that my father passed away from. He had colon cancer, sadly. And I personally think that this was very preventable. It was preventative. He could have led a healthier lifestyle. I don't think I had to lose him at the age of 25. I think that he could have lived a longer life, seen more grandkids. And it's very sad for me to, but I'm just being like brutally honest. This year marks 10 years and there's still some resentment left that I'm trying to work through, but he didn't have to die. So I implore the people that are listening, if you have really, really bad habits that are killing you, stop them because your children will feel them like decades later. If it's, it doesn't need to be this way. But I remember sitting at the Yushua, at the memorial service. These people were stuffing their face, eating out of control proportions, first of all. You're supposed to eat like a small portion, let's be honest. But it's like about 10:30, 10:45 at night. How many of these Yushvos, weddings, bar mitzvahs, birthdays does our community attend a week? Okay?
Correct.
Everybody is talking during the speech. People are giving speeches. Nobody's listening. But every single person that's on the microphone is saying all these really nice things. It's a generic thing, basically. They're saying all these nice things. Oh, he was a good person. May he always be remembered. He died. Health complications, refuah shalema to his wife. My mom was also sick at that time. They were actually sick together. It was a very, very difficult time in my family's life. And it was like this moment of disassociation that I had.
Aha moment.
It wasn't even aha. It's almost like I left my body and I was looking at the scene unfolding in front of me.
Wow.
And it was insane. Think about what I'm saying. We are sitting at a funeral honoring a young person that passed away from health complications. Everybody in the room, 90% is overweight, sick, drinks some kind of medications, drinking shots of vodka and cognac. Okay, I want to scream this already from like the top of my lungs. First of all, cognac is not to be shot for shot. This is a dessert beverage, okay? I cannot deal with it anymore, from the whiskey to the cognac, whatever. That's just one annoyance, this grievance that I have with our community, how with bakal mi pioti, alcohol. This is not normal, nor is it healthy. But forget about that for a second. Stuffing your faces, yelling over each other, forgetting about the fact that you're here to honor a person that died from health complications. Everybody gets in their car, faces stuffed, buttons popping out of their shirt. What did anybody learn from this memorial?
Nothing.
Nothing. What are we doing right now? What are we doing here, guys? How many people live a lie like that, Olga? I'm sorry, but you guys live a lie. I'm telling you how it is. I see it. I see so many people that live above their means. They cannot afford anything, but they're going to pay $600-$700 for that lease because they feed their ego more than they're going to feed their own health system to be able to live a longer life. Why am I saying this? Because the focus on our community is not health and wellness. It's not prosperity. Why? Create generational wealth. I mean, a lot of our Baharians do. I'm not touching on their financial capabilities. I think our community is actually incredible when it comes to that. I have mentioned on a podcast before, sitting in this very seat, how proud I am of our Baharian.
Yes.
Because I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 4. I'm absolutely proud of myself, and I don't let anybody take that away from me because they're like, "Oh, don't you didn't do that much. Calm down." Like I love that. I love when people try to set me back down for whatever reason. I don't think I'm all that, but for you to try to pull me down to your level is weird to me. But my whole thing is like, no, I would rather strive for more. I have a daughter looking up to me. I have sons that are going to be looking for qualities in their wife. I hope that their wives are half as much of a, shustrak like I am. Because why would I want, like subpar behavior? So back to, the community and health and wellness, because I don't want to get into it like a different segue in the topic. But it was such a eye-opening moment where I'm like, what are people doing? What is the matter with all of you? How you can sit there and lie to yourselves like this? It's not about showing me and my family respect and you guys couldn't keep your mouth shut or stop chewing for 1 minute to hear. This is the behavior across the board. Most of the times when I go to these memorials, this is how I feel. And that moment, I remember, I felt like I was having a panic attack. I was hyperventilating. I couldn't even breathe. I'm like, what is happening right now? Is this normal? Because when you sit at the front row at a funeral, it's very different. When it happens to your close family member, that behavior, you look at it as, this is ridiculous. How can people even behave this way? Disrespectful, barbaric. What are we even talking about? You are sitting here laying a person to rest because of their unhealthy choices. Don't you want to learn something from that? What are we doing on this earth then if we're just going to repeat the same mistakes, same hamster wheel? The same meals my mom cooked, my grandmother cooked, her great-grandmother cooked. And I used to tell my mom, look at this cookware that you're using. The aluminum is in my food. Look at these spices that you're using. Look at these ingredients that you're using. It doesn't need to be this way anymore. Educate yourselves. Want better for yourselves. So when, you ask about my vision is for our community to get healthier. It's for our community to wake up, we have so much going on for us, but we need to be more involved in everyday matters because our lives are affected. Our children's lives are affected. Politics matter. You have to be involved. You have to know what's going on in the world. Our community is very out of sight, out of mind when it comes to that. They really like to kind of, let her do it. Let them do it. Let them figure it out. I'm just going to sit here and, collect my SSI and move on with my day. No, be involved. Have a voice. It's for our future generations. Me and you are not going to be here forever. I don't want to leave my children behind in a world where they have to struggle. What was the point of our parents struggling? If we're going to continue struggling with our health, for my dad to do that and, to pass away early, am I supposed to follow in his footsteps and do the exact same thing that he's doing so that my kids can lose me young? What's the purpose of that? Is that life? Or are you supposed to learn and try to promote,
Grow.
Health and wellness? So
Change.
I've invested a lot of time and money into my platforms, especially time, something that I cannot give back. So I want my message and my lineage and my destiny here to be powerful. I want my message to be important. I want it to be something life-changing for people. So I'm always looking for ways to incorporate health, wellness. I tell people, life is short. Live it to the best of your capabilities. Go after that hustle. Do it. But number one, get your mindset right. Control your emotions better, like we spoke about at the beginning of the podcast. Don't let little things, little grievances ruin the rest of your week. He said, she said, oh, my mother-in-law said this. Oh, this one said that. Oh, my husband looked at me funny. Okay, and this is why you are where you are. This is why you still live on 108th Street for 30, 40 years. That's not supposed to be that way. Your counterparts, they're all succeeding. They moved. They left the neighborhood. They're trying to be better. You know what I mean? And it's not easy to be better, but you have to be willing to be better.
Work on yourself.
Don't complain about being stuck if you're not doing anything to change your position. Don't complain because those complainers are the ones that say, oh, why is she getting to where she is? Because she works hard, because she sleeps 4 hours a night, because she's investing. That's why. So invest into yourselves. Invest into your health. I used to promote when I started with social media. I came across this one company where I started telling people about healthier household products. And my journey has become bigger now because before it was, okay, use better products. Then it turned into, wait, I should change my water filter at home because this is also not healthy. This is also a lifestyle change.
Correct.
It's not overnight. You're not going to work out one day and have the results you want the next day. Lifestyle health changes are important today. So information age, this is where we are right now. AI is more and more powerful. We know so much now about the industry and it's been exposed. We have Bobby Kennedy right now, who's a Democrat that's in a Republican administration that is helping us get healthier. But this is going to take a lot of time. We can't depend on politicians and the government to save us. That doesn't exist. They cannot come and save our lives. He is trying to right now take out the dyes from the food. It's going to take 2 years to overhaul that. That's just one tiny, tiny issue. What about the endocrine disruptors? What about all the stuff that's making us inflamed from within? I know a lot of people that have so much mental health issues. We talked about the mental health epidemic, and I want to talk to you about this one specific company that I've actually branched out with recently. They're called Trinant, and I was very excited to get in touch with them. But it's all about health and beauty from within. So one of the biggest things that people don't know is that a lot of your gut, a lot of your health comes from your gut. And I know that me and you spoke
Of
about
course.
this offline. Your gut is responsible for maybe 70 to 90% of probably a lot of your problems. So I don't want people to think I'm sending them a message of like, oh, you need to buy this for this, and you need to buy this for that, and you need to work out, and you need to do this, and you need to sleep 8 hours, and you need to do ice baths. It's very overwhelming for some people, and it's very unattainable. You have to do what works for you, but you have to also start. The hardest part is really to start. If you start with your gut health and you actually make your stomach strong by rebuilding your microbiome with a pre and a probiotic, you can change your life with this one product alone. Your skin problems are going to start clearing up because we have all this gunk in our system.
Mm-hmm.
People that have bloating issues, this is probably excess waste that is just floating around in your intestinal tract. 5 to 10 pounds some people lose if they have regular bowel movements. Some people have inflammation of the gut so bad, they're not absorbing nutrients from their food. They're going to the bathroom 5-6 times a day and they don't know how to stop it. And they're losing a lot of weight because of it. And people are saying, oh, you're so lucky, you're skinny. Like, no, these people are insanely unhealthy. This goes across the board for people that cannot go to the bathroom. Let's say they're very, very constipated, and no matter what they do without intervention from a suppository or from pharmaceutical or Metamucil, that is just a Band-Aid. Once again, you're not making yourself regular. You're just giving your body an artificial boost, helping you to go. Guess what? By 70 years old, you will not be able to go without those products. Because your sphincter, and I'm sorry to get, physical on here, Olga, meaning visual, but these things weaken with time. And if you don't invest into your health when you're younger, you are going to be a very sick, chronically sick individual from your 40s onward. I'm 36, I'm pushing 40, and I'm already starting to see back pain, hair loss, all these things. And I was just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, what are you doing over here? Yo, whoa.
Wait a moment.
Whoa. So you know what ends up happening,
Right.
Olga? And my mama will tell me, zatknis. What old? What are you talking about? And I always tell her, I'm like, Mom, I know. And I always say, you're right. I can still walk. I can still drive. I'm still young. My skin still looks great. I'm using minimal makeup products. Genuinely, I'm grateful for these things. Why? Because I've spoken to so many people in their deathbeds that would look at me and say, I would give anything to be my 45-year-old self. My 55-year-old self. I would give anything. And I look now and I say, imagine you have a dream, Olga. Imagine you have a dream. You get up, you're not walking. You beg your grandkids to come over and maybe hang out with you in the park. You have to take a nap by 11. It's just old. It's a part of life. But imagine you wake up and you're in your 40s again. Do you understand? It's all perspective. It's all perspective.
Absolutely.
So when I wake up, I always tell my husband, if we're feeling old, we need to make ourselves feel young because we are young. We are young. I'm in my prime. I don't know what people are talking about. Sometimes, yes, I feel older because I took so much on and I became a mother young and all this stuff. And sometimes mentally, I feel 60. I feel 60 years old. I feel like I have so much wisdom. But I stay young at heart. I stay, funny. I'm silly and all these things. So I try to work on the inside of the health aspect because I want to stay young all the time. I want to
enjoy life.
To enjoy life, because if you have aches and pains, you're not going to enjoy life. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you say. If you're chronically inflamed, if you're always uncomfortable, if you're always, I have friends that I go out with and let's have a drink. We're celebrating this one's promotion. We're celebrating this one opened the business. We celebrate wins over where I am. That's why a lot of people don't sit at my table. Sorry. But this is the reality. You have to sit with winners and you have to basically be willing to sit down and have uncomfortable conversations, but you have to boost each other. But when I sit down and people at my table start saying, I have heartburn, I can't, I didn't sleep all night yesterday. It's just this wave. And I know that sounds harsh, but when you are with people that really are unhealthy, don't invest into themselves, and they just complainers. And this leads to complaining in other areas of your life. Why are you complaining about that? You probably have H. pylori. Why aren't you fixing your gut health? You'd rather sit and complain chronically for 15 years and be in your 30s taking some kind of medication instead of fixing it. Get on the diet. Optimize your health. Do something for yourself. So you rebuild your gut health alone. You can create so many, you can fix so many problems in your life. And that's just me addressing gut health.
Restructure your life, right?
You can restructure your life if you use the correct things and if you do the correct things. I know me and you spoke and you said that you do meditation, and without yoga, it sets you up. For me, without my without my gut health, which keeps me regular no matter what I eat, my days are crazy. Sometimes it's fast food. Sometimes it's fine dining in a Michelin restaurant when I'm having meetings. I've had meetings with so many people. I've had all these introductions. Life changes on the daily as I go. When I'm in the office in the city, I'm eating differently. All of these things now impact me. In my 30s, they're not my 20s anymore. I can't get away with murder anymore. I can't drink until 1 o'clock in the morning and wake up at 6 a.m. like, oh, I'm ready to party. No, I do those things in moderation now. Work hard, play hard, in moderation. But I do the things where it keeps me in check because it's a one day at a time kind of thing. You have to stay consistent. All of us have jobs. All of us have bills. All of us have kids. If you're not filling up your cup, you have nothing to pour for your family.
Correct.
So when people ask me all the time, how do you do all of this? Really, it's about taking care of myself first. I used to think when I first started that I needed to take care of every single person around me first. And maybe if I have time, I go and get a facial once every 6 months. Maybe if I have time, I'll go to the gym or whatever. No, I really tried to put me first. And one of the most important things that I've done is I started making my health a priority. And there is no better way to advocate for something than unless you're doing it yourself. Because practice what you preach. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to take a product that I'm not taking myself.
Right.
And I will do the research first. I will make sure it works first. And then hopefully I can bring it to my audience. So in a very long answer, that is my vision.
Whoa.
Wow. I saw your eyes crossed a few times, Olga, while I was talking. It's okay. I forgive you. I know. I have a lot to say.
Wow. Esther, how do you manage your downtime?
I don't have any.
Vacations?
Vacations are a must. But
how many times a year?
I do manage. I try to go 2-3 times a year. I do try to go 2-3 times. Sometimes I have taken work with me.
Does Dima have to book it for you to go?
Yeah, pretty much. He does.
Like in a forceful way?
Not in a forceful way, not at all. I'm always down to travel. It's not about that. It's about really making the time. But like I said, I have a very work hard, play hard mentality. I've worked from a very young age. And I'll preach different things. Like I'll tell people, don't waste money on nonsense. Don't waste money on this and that. But like any other person, I'm not a hypocrite. I like nice things. I like nice places. So when I do go on a vacation, for me to really, really enjoy it, it has to be a very, very nice environment. I really like, I don't need like Mohammed bin Salman to invite me into Qatar or anything with like horses, and that's not what I need. I'm not
Not yet, Esther.
Listen, it's gonna happen.
One day it will happen.
Yeah, don't knock it till you tried it. Believe me, one day it'll happen. Manifestation is everything, and I do, of course, who doesn't like nice things or nice places? But in order for me to obtain that or attain that, you have to work very, very hard. And my husband is very hardworking. God bless him. He's a business owner himself, doesn't give himself days off. So we both prioritize vacation because we need a reset. And there's always the vacation where we include the children. But there is a must 2 times a year where we say, hey, it's just me and you. And even on the trips that it's just me and you, it's not always, we're not doing things together. He goes to it's about a reset. I'm just not that person that needs like constant like attention or be coddled because I'm always doing so much, because I have my own goals, which I highly recommend for every woman to have. It creates a sense of self. It creates a sense of confidence. I know too many women that are dependent on their happiness to their husbands, like, oh, take me out, buy me something nice. You're not paying attention to me. Oh, look at me. It shouldn't be like that. Fulfill yourself. Make yourself such a freaking good time that he's begging you to hang out.
Wait, he doesn't buy you flowers?
Of course he does, because he wants to, not because I tell him.
Do you demand?
I only demand that. I'm not a demanding wife. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you want to hang out with me, that's great. I'm right here. We can hang out together.
Otherwise, I'm busy.
Otherwise, exactly. I'm busy. I have a very easygoing nature and I'm very approachable. But we have a very good friendly banter. I think it's very important to be friendly with your spouse. And I think it's great how opposite we are, because I'm really into the pop culture and I'm really into the political world and the world events. He is working all days where he's running a business.
He doesn't have time for it?
He doesn't have any time for it. So he's like a Martian. For me personally, it's like an alien, because he comes home and I'm like, did you see what happened? And he's like,
what are you talking?
Trump went to Qatar. Like yesterday when I told him about what was going on after my 20-minute without a breath, he's like, oh, Trump was in the Middle East? I didn't know. Anyway, do I have to go to work tomorrow? He tells me, and pay my bills. And I'm like, yeah, nothing happened like where the world is ending. He's like, okay, then that means I need to go take a shower and go to sleep. His priority is, listen, if I need to go to work, He just out of sight, out of mind. He doesn't really want to hear me. I'm like, what are you talking? I want to know about it.
He lets you be.
And that's very important.
And I think it's a blessing.
It's a blessing. It's very important. He knew who I was when we were dating. I have been this way, Olga. Let me tell you something. And the people that are listening, I have teachers that have reached out to me from high school. Like, you have always been this way. You always were like, that girl that was funny. Coworkers from the hospital, girls that I used to waitress with, relatives from Israel. It doesn't matter. I think that's my biggest asset to my reputation is I am who I am. I am who I am.
Take it or leave it?
It's not even about take it or leave it. This is who I am. I'm not going to change to make you more comfortable. If you're comfortable with someone that's less maybe noisy or I talk too fast for you, that's fine. That's your stuff. That's fine. I'm not for everybody. There's people that have gone out of their way to run up to me in the street and tell me, I don't follow you because you said this and this and this one time. I don't care.
Bye.
It's not, and it's really about, I'm more annoyed that you wasted precious oxygen finding the need to say that to me. I don't care. I don't care about you. I don't care about you as a person, honestly. If you're running up to me, I don't know who you are. Why would you? Because your intention is to try to hurt me.
Right.
I don't care. I can also give it back too. I can annihilate you. My tongue alone. I can, that's what I do all day. It's like I'll sit there and I'll argue with people or I'll debate and it's not worth it. It's not even worth my time or my energy. Successful people don't have time to sit there and troll on somebody else's social media.
Absolutely.
So I always tell people, if you want to troll, come troll under my social media accounts. I have people wishing death upon me, threatening me, because I say something that they don't agree with. Don't give those people any power. I don't give them any power or attention even.
Wait, doesn't it benefit you? Don't you get paid for it?
Laugh all the way
Keep
to the
dropping.
bank. No press is bad press. Laugh all the way to the bank. Do I antagonize these people? No, I don't post things to invite anger into my channel. I just don't give the power to the people that choose to do that. So, and I live my life in that way as well. If you're not happy for me, if we're not here to see each other win, don't approach me. Don't come to my table. Don't try to come to me to just try to benefit yourself. You want to work with me? We can build something together, for example. But this is why I stay to myself. You focus every day on your own goals and whatever, everything else is going to just follow.
What would be one piece of advice for those that are starting their channels and they are so, like you started in the beginning, to mention that they are so mentally dormant and afraid to come out and show their talent?
The number one piece of advice I would give to people is find your security, find your confidence. The first thing that you have to understand is that confidence is everything. Confidence is the most attractive thing about a person. If you can think back to a moment where you've met someone and they exuded such a confidence, and they might not even be that attractive, but it's something about them. I've met people that are not even so attractive, right? Like, I'm just giving an example. And you're just drawn to them. There's something about them, and you feel like, oh my God, that person is just so cool. So you can't even explain it. Once you develop that aura of yourself, and it is an energy thing. It's not always teachable, but I believe that everybody has that power within them. I totally believe that. And if you find it, your own opinion of yourself is really the only one that matters. So I went from somebody with no experience in this entire industry, and I was able to bring it mainstream amongst people with acting, careers, amongst people in the political realm, amongst people that are professional journalism, professional impressionists, whatever it is. I never let them make me feel like I'm lower than them. I never allowed it. They tried to make me feel like I'm lower than them. I was sitting in rooms with people that are like, what is this? Who is this? I don't know who this is. Get her out of the room. Who is she? Who does she think she is? I'll tell you who I am. No problem. You ask me, I'll tell you. You need to be like that in any field. In any field. You need to be like that in the classroom. Before you take an exam, somebody tries to make you feel bad about yourself. You start second guessing yourself on every question, you're going to fail. Not because you didn't know the material. Confidence is everything. And the second thing that pairs with confidence, I call it the 2 C's, is consistency. Motivation is not enough. People get so fired up when they start an idea or they start something and they say, oh my God, I'm going to do it. They post one video. They sell maybe like 15 views, especially YouTube. YouTube is a hard platform to break into. It's not so, easy to go viral. It's not so easy to have that shared. It's not the same as a social media platform where people are commenting under it and sharing it like on a page. It doesn't work the same way. So it's very hard to build those pages. Consistency. I ate, excuse my French, a lot of poop. I don't want to say the other word, but I ate a lot of crap to get to where I am. I worked for free for years, post after post. Hours, thousands of hours are given into creating the content, writing the content, producing the content, editing the content, engaging with the people so that they can continue consuming your content, okay? And not even that, trying to push it out, collaborating with other people, listening to the nonsense, listening to the negativity, getting shadow banned, getting your stuff taken down, being kicked out of these monetary programs sometimes. It's all inconsistent. You have to continue powering through it. There is no easy way. The same thing, you want a fit body, you want to get shredded, discipline yourself. There's only diet and exercise. So I will say that that's my biggest piece of advice, consistency and confidence.
Confidence comes from knowledge.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you're not going to know how to propose it. And therefore, you're not going to feel internally that you have the power to deliver.
Well, sometimes people will fake it till they make it, but that's true. The more confident you are, and if you know your thing, if you're like passionate about it and you know your stuff, that's it. Forget it. The rest is you just need to put in the work. But if you know your stuff and you're trying to push it or you're trying to talk about it, if you're well versed in what you're saying, then yeah, that knowledge will boost your confidence beyond.
Have you been invited to radio shows or TVs?
Yeah, for sure. I did a lot of work in the past 3 years, just with showcasing a lot of talking points. A lot of the invitations were comedy related, but after I've done a lot of things like this, I've also opened doors for myself where I was invited to speak out about Israel. I was invited to speak about what's going on with censorship and social media, the mental disturbances we see across our younger generation. So all these things, I'm not a professional on these things. I'm not an expert on geopolitical issues or foreign policy or any of these things. I don't think as I become an adult, I realize more and more a lot of people are not experts in any of these things. It's just about being able to convey that knowledge and articulating it correctly. So once I was able to showcase that I'm not afraid of a microphone and I can sit here and talk to you and have political discourse, then people are like, oh, she's very well-rounded. So they started inviting to more and more shows. So I'm contracted with iHeartRadio. I do a lot of comedy things for them, but I always get a lot of invites to come. I did India Global. I touched up on world events with them. I just did a recent interview with a woman that writes for Arab News. It was on a show called The Capital, and she happened to have a very different viewpoint. I actually thought I thought we were going to fight. I was very excited to go on her show, but we didn't. We didn't argue. She agreed with me. She happened to be very pro-Israel, but it's just experience, and this is a world stage for me. So every time I do one of these shows or whatever, I bring my name out there more and more, and it drives traffic to my channels, and it's just building and building and building, and you just have to keep doing it.
Esther, how do you feel those ladies that are trying to come out and build themselves, but their husbands or moms are just on the way, and maybe even sometimes the children?
I can tell you right now that this is a very touchy issue. There's two extremes here to consider. So it's either you're going to go all the way and not consider people's feelings, or you're going to resent them by not listening to yourself and listen to what they're saying based on, what people think. I feel very strongly about this. I also have had people in my life that have tried to, even family members. I will tell you, my brutal, honest transparency is I blocked the people that were getting in my way. If you get in my way, I will remove you from my way. I will not engage in nonsense. A lot of this is from people's own jealousy. As long as my ethics and my morals are not compromised, there is no reason why people should be giving me their 2 cents on what I should or shouldn't be doing. A lot of people have told me, for safety reasons. Oh, you have a family, think about your family, you're too out there, this and that. To that, I will say, I could step outside tomorrow and get hit by a bus. Safety, not safety. There are provisions that you can take to stay safe. I'm not sitting here antagonizing people on social media to try to come after me. I don't invite people to come and debate with me. I'm not trying to make an unsafe environment. I'm not throwing caution to the wind. Everything is within reason. But when it comes to people's opinions, my morals and my ethics are not compromised. I'm modest. I have conservative values. I'm not taking my clothes off for money. Half the things that I was invited to do, I did not do. There was things I've been invited to adult gentlemen clubs as the Kamala Harris character with full-blown security that would be present, all these things. It's just not the kind of environment I want to associate myself in. And I was assured, oh, you're not going to be doing anything. Oh, we have adult dancers. We have this. But we really want to have this thing going. This is just one example. This was from a different state, a gentleman who's very professional. This is his world. For them, this is normal. I'm not judging. I don't care. That's not my line of work. Money was it was
Offer.
a beautiful offer for the 1 hour of work that I'm invited to do, and you're going to fly me out and you're offering me that much money? Money is not everything.
Correct.
You know, I'm here to be getting paid and to become successful so that I can create and build something and create possibly generational wealth for my children. However, you have to have your principles. Because let's face it, Olga, if this was all about money, why do I need this? I would open an OnlyFans. That's the truth. I know girls in our community that are doing this. Yes, I'm gonna talk about it for a second because you're selling yourself. You will regret it later. So to those people, like I say, like, listen, I have a very strong moral compass, and what I feel I'm doing, I think it's powerful. I think it helps other people. I think that somebody's got to do it when it comes to Israel. There's very few people of us out there already left. Think about the numbers. Think about how few people are even able or willing to talk about this topic publicly. You know, I keep getting pushed into these rooms. I have to also explain to you that the power of the divine. There are certain doors that have opened for me. You cannot tell me it's not from God. Maybe he made me build these platforms so that I have a larger message for
And
people.
he's testing you.
And he's testing me 100%. And believe me when I tell you, I have been tested from very, very big offers like what I just discussed to, you know, people saying, oh, we're going to do this, this, and that. And you have a mail that you have to do this, you know. And I'm just like, no. If I'm not comfortable with it, basically, I'm not going to do it. So my advice to people that are trying to start out and their families have something to say, well, I trust myself. I trust my own judgment. I have not yet endangered myself in any negative way. So you have to trust that I will continue to do so if that's what you're worried about. But to anybody around that or outside of that, and when you're asking me this in a way of like, oh, they're just judging you based on like, why are you doing this for? What is this? Screw them all. I'm telling you right now. Because they don't have your vision.
Absolutely.
They're
not in your head.
They're not in your head. They don't have your vision. And you're not asking them of anything. I'll give you like full transparency. With my husband and me, when this all started, he told me, okay, if you think you're going to, I don't know what you think you're going to accomplish, but go ahead. Once it started, you know, I came to him and I said, okay, listen, I'm now doing this. So what now? I want to make sure you're okay with it. I don't want to step on any toes, you know, whatever. He said, look, as long as I'm your priority and the kids are your priority, oh, and you don't quit your job, if you can make this happen, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I've held him to that statement till today because there have been moments where he said, okay, so like, that's it. Like, you know, like,
enough already.
Enough already. Take this off. Maybe, you know, there have been a couple of times that he maybe has said that. And I'm like, did I quit my job? Are you not priority? Are the kids not taken care of? You know, don't forget, I'm doing this in a much slower route than I think that I would have been if I wouldn't have had like the kids and the husband, because the Jewish holidays hold me back. The constant shopping, the Shabbat. There's so many, like on Fridays, I always say, no, I'm like, I can't do this. It's a Friday. I have Shabbat. I have to cook. Priorities. When I am succeeding on social media, I'm probably failing somewhere at home or at work. So I'm always juggling a balance act. It's very difficult. I've had to bite a lot, you know, because there have been moments where I've had to let go of some extremely amazing opportunities, but with no resentment and no regret. Why? Because I chose the path of, I'm going to do it all. I'm going to do it my way, but I'm going to do it all. Because there's women that are chasing their dreams that are not even married with kids, and they want it so badly.
And yet they have excuses.
Time is ticking, and the time is ticking, and they have excuses, but their time is ticking. Me, I look at it as I started this journey late, but it's not late. Maybe I needed to start this journey after I already had the family and the kids, because now I'm able to accomplish something while they're growing up, showing them what this looks like, showing them what this consistency looks like. Like my biggest proud moment is my son telling me, wow, Mom, like you made it. Like 150 for him, YouTube is my biggest accomplishment because he tried to open a YouTube and tried to like post some videos. He's like, I have 3 subscribers after 6 months. What the heck? He's like, what the heck? And I'm like,
hard.
And he gave up, of course. But then he starts back up again sometimes with another project. And I believe that watching his mom and dad do it without quitting, like my husband is sick as a dog, he still goes to work. This is a business owner. You don't have the luxury of staying home. I'm sorry. You just don't. When I don't finish my 9 to 5, that's what I'm doing until 2 o'clock in the morning because I have to finish it. It has to get done. You know what I mean? Sometimes my day gets busy. Like today, we're probably way over our time, which is okay. But this is what it takes.
Right.
And I do
You are
not pay
committed.
attention.
You are committed.
Committed, but
You are very committed
don't listen to
person.
the noise. Anybody that tells you otherwise.
And this is a priceless moment.
Yeah.
Esther, who can you humorize outside of politicians?
Everybody.
Give me an idea.
I mean, if Vostok walked in here, for example, right now, we wouldn't be able to see him actually because he would fall under the table. One time he was actually in this room. I swear to God, I didn't even see him. And he started saying, he's like, Esther. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, Michael, you came out of nowhere. I just put you in my pocket. I think I'm a very good mimic. I'm sorry, Mikey. I'm sorry. You know why I'm doing this to Michael Vostok?
Why?
Because of this nonsense questions that he posts sometimes with like the Bukharski Toja Plachet, like the remarks. The ones that are made up. Don't BS. Don't BS, Mikey. I know you're listening. Some of them are curated from your fascinating mind. I know. There is no way some of our people have these kinds of problems. No way. But besides the impersonations, I will say, I think it's just my personality, is my own brand. I can make anything really funny, and I'm very adaptable. So I will tell people, like, stay tuned. The comedy stuff is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. But, I'm broadening my horizons.
Awesome, awesome. This was such an impactful episode. Esther, I am very, very excited and looking forward to what the future holds.
Thank you. And I know we're going to be a part 2. I know you're going to close out, but I did want to say that, your husband is also a sweetheart. I wanted to say, guys, I have to get this in here. Have you guys met Olga's husband? So let me understand something. You guys work together.
Yes.
So he's your handler. Like if somebody doesn't buy the house, he sits next to you and goes, "You buy house now, or you die." Is that what's happening?
Oh no, he's very, very quiet guy.
No, he's not. I mean, deadly but silent. Is that right?
He's a very quiet guy. And let me tell you, when I first started, he was also questioning, and a lot of people, including Michael Vostok and Kaikov Media, let's give shout out to them.
If you do podcast, I kill you now. That's basically what he told Olga.
He really did not get it.
Yeah.
He did not get it.
A lot of our people don't get it.
They just don't get it.
Yeah.
And as I started to go in this path, I really started to feel like it's my calling.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest with you, Olga, what's funny about this is that you're ahead of the game, because even 5 years ago when I spoke to people about getting their business on social media and getting themselves out there, and I always, because I started with the entertainment factor, I would tell them, make funny videos, do something in your office, whether it's a medical office, dental office. Every single one of those people are like, you think I have time for that? You think no, it's not that kind of environment. Every single one of them right now is trying to do something on social media, whether it's trending clips, freaking dancing. I mean, they're trying to integrate somehow the social media world in their business because they have to, because if you don't do it, you get left behind. So I've always also shown your stuff. And I remember, this is a true story. I said to my husband this exact phrase. I said, "Молодец. We have a real estate agent in the community that is broadening her horizons and just using education, creating a platform, creating a page, and not necessarily being so concrete. It's not all about selling houses, her thing. And she's so diverse. Like, look, you have me on here today, but I was like, yeah, I'm willing to, talk to anybody about my story. That's totally fine. But this is what you need to do in today's world. Everything is turning into online. And I will say, people, don't knock it. Don't judge it. You have to be about it. This is where our world is heading. You're not going to stop it. You're just not going to stop it. This is where people are. People are spending more and more time on their phones. People want to know the authentic face
version of
behind the business, behind the human. And that's what it's all about. That shift happened in 2020. And now you have people in their pajamas selling products on TikTok with their hair in a bun. And that's the people, because you realize, everything's a scam. I'm going to believe the authentic lady with 2 kids like me because it's relatable.
Correct.
So when you have people like you doing this, it's relatable to the people that are watching it. So more power to you. Keep it going.
Thank
you.
You
know what I'll tell you? It doesn't matter if it doesn't make sense sometimes. Who cares? Who cares? You just continue doing it. Continue doing it. You think everything always makes sense for all of these people that are successful? No, success is very up and down. I have people right now running up to me and they just can't wait to tell me, like, oh, your 15 minutes of fame is up. That's it. Kamala Harris disappeared. I mean, I'm not going to ever prove anything to anyone, but they could not be more wrong. The amount of doors that I have been able to open for myself during the election is, I'm set for the next 5 years. So it's not my place to prove anything to anyone. I also am not the kind to sit here and wave about myself. But all I'll say to people is stay tuned. And my journey is my own. Don't let people say anything to you. But I did want to give like a quick shout out to Roma. I'm going to hire him as a bodyguard, you guys. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to take him away from her. I need someone like that. He looks like he can slap the crap out of someone and just by looking.
Well, yes, I'm truly blessed. And my mom always tells me that she's very happy that, he's by my side. And I always tell him that, you know what, I have the price to pay because a lot of men are out there hustling, bustling, and really bringing an extra income. For me and him, it's all one.
Yeah.
And he has no choice. Every single one that knows me, they know that I'm very persistent personality. I'm Libra by nature, so I have to stay very focused. And there is no if, there is no but. Even if I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to show up here today or 6 a.m. to show up here today, I will do it no matter what. It rains, it pours, my hair get messed up, I will still show up. I was planning to wear a whole white suit, but it didn't happen. I will still show up. It's about being relentless. It's about showing up no matter what. And like you said, the world is watching. Our kids are watching. Our husbands are watching. And you know what? In the end of the day, it's all about us, what we do for us to satisfy ourselves, our mind, and our mental capacity to really know what we're here for. And this is what I want to really start bringing out there more and more into our community and beyond, that each and every one, if they put their mind to something, they could do it. Mm-hmm. Excuses, like once you find an excuse, you will always find a way not to do it.
Exactly.
But once your mind is made up and you said, I will do it no matter what, I will show up, whether it's pretty or it's ugly. So stay tuned, everybody, because you will see me and Esther showing up on the next episode. Thank you, God, for everything. I think everything is from Hashem. Everything is from God. Anything you guys believe in, it's all from above. And I think that we are all gifted in our own way to deliver, give back, and really enjoy the life that we have to ride the waves of this beautiful next level that we get to experience. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you for having me. And guys, please follow my pages if you can, Mommy RN, on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, formerly known as Twitter, and on TikTok. So we're still growing, we're still here, and more content and more health and wellness news to come.
Well, we're planning to do part 2, which is going to be more focused and dedicated to health and wellness with Esther. This was just a soft introduction of what we are thinking about doing.
Yes, if there is any interest in the product lines that I mentioned, we will be doing a part 2, which will include a much deeper breakdown of these products. And just to give just a final goodbye to the people that are listening to the live, I believe it's live, right?
Yes.
If there is someone in your family or yourself that suffers with a metabolic health disorder, my number one takeaway to our community would be, I would implore people to look into these products simply because we have a huge high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity epidemic, heart disease. A lot of people are on statins. A lot of people are on losartan, lisinopril, Norvasc. I can name all of these medications, and I'm sure you've heard of some of them by name. There are supplements, there are ways to take back your health without a pharmaceutical intervention. These medications only cause more problems. They are Band-Aids. So if you are interested in these products, feel free to reach out to me, send me a message. I might not be able to get to all these messages myself, but we will go ahead and have a part 2. So stay tuned if you are interested, and we will dive in very deep into the metabolic health, down to the cellular level of what you can do to help control your blood sugar better, to help control your blood pressure better, and to just get healthier, so we can celebrate and live long, prosperous lives.
Beautiful, beautiful. Just to wrap that moment to the very end, I just want to remind everybody that I am not living real estate worlds. This is my passion. This is my love. I love helping people decorate, design, break, paint, clean outs. This is my passion. I am never leaving it. No matter what else I will have the privilege of doing and God will throw my way, I will definitely continue to absorb and really deliver more of me, whether it's motivation, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's yoga, meditations, whether it's, staying true to yourself and really connect with God and really become more spiritual. I'm all about growing, learning, and bringing this lifestyle of my life to all of you because I truly, truly love all of you guys. And stay tuned. We'll see you soon.
See you guys next time.